So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us all today. My name is Ana Godinez. I work here at HSF, and I'm responsible for our mentor program, amongst other things. And then joining me, I'm going to have her join me on screen for a second. This is Alex Manriquez. Alex is our social media manager, so if you follow us on Twitter, if you like us on Facebook, what else are we on? Are we on Instagram? We're on Instagram, LinkedIn. All of those, LinkedIn, all of those fun things. Anything you see coming out of that, that's Alex. And then Alex also is our webinar master, amongst other things. So she will be sort of helping me manage today's session. So let me point out a few features that you have to interact with us. I know it's web-based, but I'd like to encourage you to interact with us as much as possible during today's session. So you notice the chat feature already in front of your screen, and the chat feature is really anytime that you type something into that, it's visible to the whole group. So if you have something you'd like to share with the group as a whole, you put that in the chat. If you have a specific question that you'd like answered by one of our moderators, by myself or Alex, then you would type that into the Q&A box. So kind of towards the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little box that says Q&A. Anytime you type something into that box, that'll come in directly to Alex. So Alex is helping me monitor questions while I give the PowerPoint. So she'll answer the question directly for you if she can, or she'll share it with me so that I can then share it with the group if it's something that might be useful for the whole group to hear as well. So again, Q&A box are private messages that go directly to Alex. Chat box is messages that get announced to the group. We may not be monitoring the chat as closely. So if you have a question, I suggest you put it in the Q&A box as well. A little later on in the session, I may ask for volunteers to share their answer to a question or share an experience. So if you look towards the top of your screen, you'll see sort of towards the top, towards the right, you'll see a little figure that looks like it has its hand raised like this. So you can volunteer to answer a question by raising your hand, pushing the little button there, and then we can turn the features on so that you can ask your question or you can share when the time is appropriate. So there's lots of ways for you to interact with us. I encourage you to do so. And if you have any questions along the way, like I said, feel free to put those in the Q&A box, and Alex will be monitoring those, and we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions today. But welcome to the session. I'm really excited that you have signed up for the program. We have lots of mentors right now that are sort of in the process of signing up and getting through background and all of that good stuff that are excited to meet you and to connect with you. And so I'm really, really glad that you've taken this step to be here with us today. So I'm going to start just a little bit, giving a little bit of background about myself, mostly because I'm going to ask you to do the same a little bit later on in the presentation, or at least to think about somebody who, to think about mentoring and what that means to you. So I wanted to start by sharing what mentoring means to me. And I wanted to share that by showing you an example of one of my really nearest and dearest mentors. Her name is Lydia Aranda. She's in this picture with me. And I've met Lydia as an undergraduate student. I believe I was a sophomore in undergrad. And I was very fortunate to meet her then, and was very fortunate to be able to have established this relationship with her that's been really, really awesome. And Lydia has been helpful to me, not so much in career or academic advice. I always sort of knew what classes I needed to take and had a plan and that sort of thing. But Lydia's always been really good about just giving me advice about difficult situations in general, whether it was sort of something, political maybe at my internship, or if it was if I was struggling with sort of a professor maybe, or anytime I've had sort of difficult or sort of sensitive situations like that, Lydia was always somebody I could call on, and she always had really great advice. One of the things Lydia is really, really good at is communication, and she's really good at building relationships and developing those relationships. And so that's sort of what I turned to her about a lot was advice on my relationships, whether it's professional with my professors, in my internships, now in my career. So it was always nice to bounce ideas off of her and get her perspective on things. And I think she really steered me in the right direction, in situations where if I hadn't handled them appropriately, I think could have been really bad. But she always helped me sort of maneuver those types of situations. And then also just as when I was younger, started to sort of go to these different like networking events. I was a member of the Hispanic Business Students Association when I was an undergrad, and so we'd get invited to things like the Hispanic Chamber Gala or the Latino networking this or that, and all of these really cool events. But that were to me were really really foreign. I was used to going to quinceañeras and bautizos or totally different types of events, right? And so now I'm getting invited to these more like professional settings, and I wasn't really sure some of the times sort of how to introduce myself or what to wear even or things like that. And that's another area where Lydia was really really helpful for me. Is I could call her and like, Lydia, what are you wearing? And she would tell me what she's wearing to the event, and it would be helpful. She's like, I'm wearing this coat with these earrings, or so it's something small, but little things like that that made me feel more comfortable going into the event because I had a chance to talk to her beforehand. So little things like that. So this is just a picture of us most recently. I think for me it was a really really proud moment. I was so last year I went to Arizona State, I mentioned, as an undergrad. But for graduate school, I decided to go back east. So I was at the Harvard Graduate School of Education last year, and I helped plan this conference, which was like Latino students across different schools. So it was a Latino Law, Policy, and Business Conference. And so we had lots of speakers, lots of activities, but we invited Lydia to be our MC for the whole conference. So over the course of 2 days, she was our MC, and she did awesome and she did wonderful. Like I said, Lydia's great with people. She's a great speaker. She's great with relationships. So people really, really loved her, and I was really, I hope she was proud that she knew me and that I was there as sort of as a student and helping plan the conference. And I was really proud to have her there as my mentor on stage, and everybody loved her and everybody was so happy that we had invited her. So it was, as a mentee with my mentor, it was a really proud moment for me. And I hope that I've sort of made her proud over the years as well. And we continue to have a really good relationship. So I met her, I was 19, and I'm now 29. So it's been 10 years strong now. And so I'm really excited. This is part of the reason why I'm excited that you signed up for this program, because I know in my life mentors have been very influential and a very positive sort of element to add to my professional growth and my personal growth. And I really hope that if you don't already have that type of relationship with somebody, that this program will be the start of that for you. So really quick, we're gonna just today we're gonna cover a few things. We're gonna cover just really go over HSF in general and sort of so that you're aware of what things we offer outside of just the scholarships, which are important and helpful, I hope. But there's also lots of other things that we do that we'd like to make you aware of. And then we're gonna go over an overview of Mentor Match, kind of macro level, right? So big picture, what are the program objectives? How's the program structured? Those sorts of things. And then in the last half, we'll cover sort of tips for mentees. So how to use the system. We use a web-based platform. It's called iMentor. So I'll teach you how to use that, and we'll talk about sort of and it's an email-based curriculum. So we'll talk about that curriculum. We'll talk some tips for you and for helping you build relationships with your mentors. So a little bit about HSF. I'm not going to read this thing in its entirety, but I think the important things to point out here are a couple of things. One, that we were founded in 1975. So that means this year HSF turned 38 years old. And in that time, we've given over $400 million in scholarships. So what that means is, as I mentioned to you kind of during before we got started, that means is you're part of an organization now that has a really long, really rich history. And we have over 57,000 alumni who are ready to sort of engage and to help you graduate from college and be successful in any career that you choose. We also offer a wide range of programs. And so these are just a list of sort of our national programs. So we have College 101s, College Camps, and Youth Leadership Institute. So these are our outreach programs. These are geared from middle school to high school students and families, and really just trying to educate our community about the process of going to college, the process of preparing for college, the process of financing college, all of those things that, now that you're a college student, you know a lot about. We're trying to sort of educate students and families a little earlier about a lot of those things. And so College 101s and College Camps we hold in cities throughout the country. And those are sort of either a half day or a full day session. And then our Youth Leadership Institutes, we do, they're a little bit more intensive. We take about 100 students and we spend 3 days and 2 nights at a college campus talking about, a lot of this information and sharing the resources, and also just building community and really empowering students to um, really just focusing on empowerment and motivation, and it's really intensive. It's a fun program. So, and these are all things, by the way, that you as scholars can volunteer for. So if you're ever interested in getting involved with any of these, let me know, and I'd be happy to let you know when one of these is coming to a city near you. We're going to learn a little bit more about Mentor Match today, so I won't go too much into that. Also, we have, some of you may be familiar with our Scholar Chapter Networks. Perhaps you have one on your campus, but those are also programs. We have, I believe, just about 30, almost 40 scholar chapters throughout the country, and these are usually formed by one of our HSF scholars, and they're focused on really just helping students who are now in college, graduate from college. And so they have different activities focused on, helping you become a better student, or learning about internship opportunities or professional development opportunities, or sometimes just kind of fun social things so that you get to know, other sort of Latino students on campus. And so those are fun. We have, as I said, just almost 40 of those throughout the country. And then we participate in various outreach events. So sometimes we get requests to participate in a college fair, or to give a workshop at a conference, or those sorts of things. So they're not events that we as HSF organize, but we're invited to participate in, so we can share the information about the scholarships and all of these other resources with, a wider audience, which is great. And so I will say this is an area where you as scholars and our alumni have been very, very helpful. We're a small team here at the central office, and we get a lot of these requests, which is good, because that means people want to learn more about college, and want to learn more about scholarships, and we want to, be responsive to those. And so what we've done is, if I get a request, say in Phoenix, Arizona, for example, is I'll send an email to alumni and to scholars in the Phoenix area and said, hey, Arizona State University invited us to participate in a college fair. They want to share information about scholarships to communities in Phoenix. Can anybody help? And you guys have been very, very good about answering our call and volunteering for those types of events. And, we share with them the materials and flyers and everything they need to help, represent us well at this event. But as I mentioned, you guys have been really, really great about answering our call. We've been able to, answer 99% of those requests, and share that information with that community thanks to your help. So those are something else that we do. And then also we do, we'll be doing, we started the alumni reception series. We had our first one actually in October, or just a couple weeks ago, in New York. We're doing a total of 6 cities between now and March. And these are events where we invite our alumni, where we invite sort of other Latino professional organizations to join us, and then also our scholar chapter members and our scholars to join us as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to network with each other, to network with professionals. And so we'll be bringing these to, we'll be doing 6 cities this year, as I said, New York being the first one. But that's another event that you as scholars are welcome to participate in. So what are the goals of Mentor Magic? Why would you want to do this program, or why did we develop this program, right? So the first is really basic, which is just to connect college students with college graduates, so that you have somebody to turn to that has sort of been in your shoes and has, knows sort of the joys and the struggles of being a college student, and you have somebody to talk to about those things. The other is trying to sort of give you a few more college survival skills, we call it, right? So that's, so as I mentioned, there's this email sort of curriculum or email prompts that you'll be responding to, and some of those prompts are meant to just really help you get to know your mentor and establish a relationship with your mentor, and others are built more around things like developing good study habits, sort of career exploration, or time management. So those sort of things like that, so that you can talk to your mentor about those things, learn a little bit more, get some tips, and maybe get their perspective on things that were helpful for them while they were college students. The next goal is to really help us build, to help you build your network, right? So you have goals, you have interests, and You might have questions, and so we just want to help you build up your, resource bank of folks that you can go to for those types of things. And so you'll have us here, as HSF staff as a resource. You'll have your mentor as a resource, and then your mentor also knows, lots of groups, lots of folks that might be able to help you with a question you might have. If you're looking for an internship opportunity. If you need, help with one of your classes or those sorts of things. So they're part of your network now, and then their extended network, is you may have an opportunity to connect with them as well. And then lastly, we just want to build a greater sense of connectedness between you, our alumni, and us here at HSF. We're happy to write you a check, right? We think that obviously that the financial support that we provide is important, but we also want to be there as a support system for you, and we want you to feel like you can, count on us when you need support. We want to do more than just finance your education. We want to make sure you get through to graduation, and we want to make sure that you reach your career goals beyond that. And so we hope that by doing this, you see us as more than just a financial resource as you go through your academic career. Do we have any questions, Alex, that we should stop for? Okay. So who is participating in Mentor Match? So the mentors are a combination of HSF alums and other college grads. So there's other, Latinos out there that have been successful in their careers, that have an interest in seeing more Latino students graduate from college and seeing more Latinos, pursue certain careers or those sorts of things, that also wanted to, we're also interested in connecting with you and mentoring you. And so they're also welcome to participate in the program. And in terms of the mentees, which would be you, it's a combination of, you're either an HSF scholar, so you received a scholarship from HSF, or you're a GMS scholar where we're helping administer that, and you're getting communications from HSF regarding your GMS scholarship, or you're a member of one of our HSF scholar chapters. So the screening process. So this is mostly this is what the mentors go through. So just so that you're aware, sort of what we're doing behind the scenes is we are collecting the mentor intake form from them, which is very similar to the mentee intake form that you filled out, and that's actually the information collected from those forms is what we use then to match you with the mentor later. The mentors also do a background check, and they also attend a training very similar to this one that you're going through today. And then in terms of matching, so these are the things we consider. It's gender. So gender, you will be matched with somebody of the same sex. So if you're female, you'll have a female mentor. If you're male, you'll have a male mentor. And then the rest of these, we sort of take into consideration all at once. So your mentor won't necessarily have the exact same career experience, academic experience, personal experience, characteristics, and location, but you and your mentor will share, maybe two or three of those traits. And so we'll take all of those into account. And what that iMentor system helps us do is it takes all of this information that you give us on that intake form, all the information that the mentor gives us on that intake form, and it computes what's called the strength of match score. So when I pull up, so let's say Alex here signed up as a mentee, I could pull up Alex's profile, and then next to Alex, I get a list of maybe 5 or 6 mentors that had a good strength of match score. So that means you guys share something in common. Maybe you had a similar, very similar personal experience and similar career interest, or maybe you've had, similar academic experience and similar characteristics. So we can guarantee that you will have at least 2 or 3 things in common with your mentor that you can use to sort of start to build the relationship from. And you won't necessarily have all 5 things in common with your mentor. And then in terms of location, what we will do our best to match you with somebody in your area. However, if there isn't a mentor available in your area, but there is a mentor maybe in another city that you have lots in common with, then we'll match you up that way. So it'll be a combination of, some of you will have, what I sort of call a local match, so somebody in your area, and some of you might have more what I call a long distance match with somebody outside of your area. But you'll see later the program is mostly web-based, and so both of those work, and we've gotten good feedback from both students and mentors in both of those situations. So any questions about matching?
We did get our results back from our first poll, which represents you best.
Okay.
We have 11 of our 13 participants are scholars.
Okay, so it looks like if you guys didn't hear Alice, she said 11 of the 13 of you today are HSF scholars, which is great. And then the other two? Okay.
The other two haven't voted
The
yet.
other two haven't voted yet, so you need to come back to your screen. The two of you that didn't vote. But okay, so it looks like the majority of you are HSF scholars, so congratulations on receiving the scholarship for this year. And I'm glad you, again, took the additional initiative to also be in the mentor program. So this is the mentee to-do. So this is kind of what you agree to doing by being a part of this program. So as I mentioned, there's an email curriculum on the iMentor platform. Basically, you'll get an email from us once every 2 weeks. And it'll be a prompt on a topic, and you'll be asked to respond to that prompt. And your mentor will get something similar, so that both of you then will go in and write